Hello friends, welcome to Amendments Lectures on Indirect Taxes for CA Final May 2020 exam. So before going to listen to this Amendments Lectures, so please get a copy of my Amendments booklet and you can download it for free from my website www.tharunraj.com, or if you want a hard copy also you can place an order from the same website. And this amendments material is designed for my students who appeared for May 2019 exam and November 2019 exam. So if you are my student and if you are already having the material with you or the book with you which I have provided at the time when you have attended my classes, keep that book and keep this amendments booklet also, and you can easily correlate because the segments in which I have given in the main book, the same way the amendments material is also prepared. Suppose if you are having some other book of May 2019 or November 2019, then you might find it difficult exactly to find in which place this amendment is in. But do not worry. With respect to every amendment, I have given what is the change before amendment, what was the provision, and after amendment, what is the provision. So it is easy for you to analyze and understand. Then, if you are having May 19 material or May 19 book, for that you should be having November 19 amendments material, added to that this May 20 amendments material. Even though this particular amendments booklet or material is prepared for CA Final May 2020 students, this is also useful for CS and CMA students who are appearing for June 2020 exams. And for CA Final students who are appearing for May 2020 exams, I have incorporated all amendments up to 31/10/2019. So that's a cutoff date. Any notification or a circular or a change that is applicable as on 31/10/2019 will be applicable for your May 2020 exams. However, Finance Act 2019, even though it is enacted before this 31/10/2019, but the changes made by the Finance Act 2019 is not applicable for your May 20 exam except to one particular change, that is in refunds chapter or refund segment. Because Finance Act, even though enacted before this date, but the effective date of those amendments made by Finance Act 2019 is applicable after this date. So they have made many provisions effective from Jan 2020. So due to that reason, so it is advisable not to refer to any provisions of Finance Act 2019, and this is as per ICAI. So ICAI has released an amendments material in that clearly they have specified these points. For example, you can see here, so this I have given, so this is the reference as provided by ICAI material. So in that they have given what are all the topics which are all excluded, and this will be useful for you so that you don't have to read those topics. And even in our classes also we have not discussed anything here except for one area which we have discussed in our class but not applicable for your exam, is this input tax credit chapter or segment. We discussed ITC implications on real estate sector. This ITC implications on real estate sector is not applicable for May 2020 exams, but of course we have spent a considerable amount of time in discussing this particular concept in our class. So please ignore that particular area. So in segment 6, if you are having the main book, in that main book segment 6, input tax credit chapter. In that we discussed rule 42 and rule 43 in case of real estate transactions, and that is not at all applicable. Even for those who attended May 20 evening batch, for them also I have discussed this. Even for them also it is not applicable for exam. Apart from that, whatever is the topic that is excluded as per ICAI, I have not discussed in the class. So therefore you don't have to go through this. Thereafter they have given some applicability. In that clearly they have specified that Finance Act 2019 is not applicable, and it is in line with my discussion with you. Then we'll start with amendments segment wise, starting with segment 1, introduction to GST. In this segment, as per ICAI amendments material, there are no amendments. But I have incorporated this amendment for your reference purposes. So even if you are not remembering this, it's fine. What is this amendment about? You all know that Article 370 to the Constitution got abrogated. So which means that we don't have a special status or a separate status to Jammu and Kashmir. So what has happened? This state of Jammu and Kashmir got bifurcated into two union territories. One is Jammu and Kashmir, Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, and Union Territory of Ladakh. Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir is a union territory with state legislature, whereas Union Territory of Ladakh is union territory without state legislature. What is the state legislature? Generally, union territories are under whose control? The central government's control. But when some union territories have been given powers to operate like a state, then they are called as union territories with state legislature. For example, Delhi, it is having an assembly, chief minister, cabinet of ministers. Same way Pondicherry, assembly, chief minister. In the same manner for Jammu and Kashmir, union territory of Jammu and Kashmir also. So all the aspects like elections, assembly, chief minister, cabinet of ministers, everything will be like a state. Whereas union territory without state legislature is a pure union territory which is completely under the control of the central government. Now, if it is a union territory with state legislature, what tax that is applicable? As you already know that we have multiple taxes. We have CGST, then SGST, then UTGST and IGST. When IGST is levied in case of interstate supplies, we have IGST. In case of intrastate supplies, we have CGST, SGST and UTGST. And CGST is levied by central government in all cases. Whatever it may be, central government will be levying CGST. Whereas SGST is levied by the state government, which means that in the union territory with state legislature, we have SGST but not UTGST. Then this UTGST will be applicable for a union territory without state legislature. So therefore, now you tell me, so what is the GST that is applicable in the union territory of Jammu and Kashmir if the supply takes place within the state, that is intrastate supply? It will be CGST plus SGST. Whereas if a supply takes place within the union territory of Ladakh, then what will be the GST that is applicable? So in that case, we have CGST plus UTGST. So therefore, whenever a transaction takes place in Jammu and Kashmir within intrastate supply within Jammu and Kashmir, what is the tax that is applicable? CGST plus SGST. Then whenever the supply, that is intrastate supply, that takes place in Ladakh, what will be the GST that is applicable? CGST plus UT GST. Then what if the transaction takes place between Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh? That is between Jammu and Kashmir to Ladakh when the transaction takes place. Then it will be intrastate or interstate. Interstate. So accordingly we will be having IGST. So therefore within Union Territory of Ladakh CGST plus UT GST. Within the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir CGST plus SGST. Between Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh IGST. And you all know that IGST will be levied and collected by the central government, and 50% of that IGST will be given to the consuming state. Suppose if the interstate sale is between Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. So what is an interstate supply? When location of supplier and place of supply is in two different states, it is known as interstate supply. So if location of supplier is in Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, so Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, this is the location of supplier, whereas place of supply is Ladakh, then it is an interstate supply, and in that case IGST is collected by the central government, and 50% of that IGST will be given to Ladakh, Union Territory of Ladakh. Suppose if location of supplier is in Ladakh and place of supply is in Jammu and Kashmir, then also IGST is collected by the central government, and 50% of that will be given to Jammu and Kashmir. So this is the updated provisions. However, whatever the discussion I have made so far is not applicable for May 2020 exam. For your exam, if a question is asked, if a supply takes place between Jammu and Kashmir to Ladakh, what is the answer? It is intrastate supply only, and CGST plus SGST is applicable, because even before this change, Jammu and Kashmir was a state. Anyhow, SGST will be applicable to it. So therefore, please remember for your May 20 exam, if there is a question related to a supply which takes place within the state of Jammu and Kashmir, that is say Jammu and Kashmir to Ladakh, then you should not write it as interstate supply, you should write it as intrastate supply. CGST plus SGST is only applicable. So this discussion is not yet made applicable for your exam, so don't worry about it.